Fairy Tail is back, and I really do find this to be a very whatever chapter. So we start off the end of the last chapter with Juvia defeating Gate, and Gate turns into a book, which means he isn't actually dead. All Juvia did was just take him out, to the point where he had to revert back to his book form to heal, I guess. And from what we know from the books of Zeref, which the books of Faris are based off of, you can actually, one, rewrite a demon book, so they could probably change Gate's powers or personality if they felt like it. Or, if someone felt like it, they could probably even absorb Gate's power by consuming his book. I don't mean that eating it literally, I mean having someone like Levi take it and then transfer the wording of the book to a person. Of course, the first thing Juvia does after defeating Gate is go look for Gray, and we end up going to where he is at with the rest of Fairy Tail, and they are currently just still staring at the Fire and Flame team. Now, they could have been fighting this whole time, and we just didn't see it. That is a possibility, but from what I tell, they really are just standing there looking at each other. All of a sudden, the sky then cracks above them, and both Faris and Bestia fall out of it. The two of them apparently have been fighting in the other dimension, and their powers broke through to the real world. Now, this is the first time that most people in Fairy Tail, outside of Natsu, have met Faris or Bestia, and so they get a feel of both their magic powers, and they both feel strange, like they're both special. Now, we know why Faris is special. She consumed a portion of Acnologia, which makes her a 5th generation dragon slayer of Acnologia. As for Bestia, what makes her special apparently are her flames. There's something unique about it, everyone can sense it. In fact, Faris even compliments them. We still have no idea what's so special about her flames. All we know is that Natsu currently considers her a meal, because he was told by Misfortune that if he ate her flames, he'd be strong enough to take on Igna. And so there's just a gag about the fact that Natsu views Bestia as a meal, and his meal then is just to run away. At least that's what he sees it. Obviously, Faris and Bestia are focused on trying to kill each other. Point is, Natsu's about to go after the two of them because he wants to consume Bestia's flame so he can go after Igna, but that is when Wed slices Natsu in half, or at least tries to. Because Natsu's fire is so hot, as always, he's able to melt Wed's sword. Of course, Wed is surprised by this because he literally is a fire magic user himself, and also he's now been dragonified, and his fire doesn't melt his sword, therefore it makes perfect sense that Wed's sword is both fire and heat resistant, but at this moment, Natsu's flames exceed a temperature that even his sword can handle. Natsu then starts to generate heat that melts everyone's clothes, including his own allies. We had a gag with Gray about this, saying that Natsu melted his clothes and turned him naked, but when he's like, yeah, you were really like that. Natsu then mocks them, saying that they're basically fake dragons, and then does a fire dragon breath to burn all of them. It doesn't seem to have a major effect, but it does prove that the flames of someone who with Dragon Slayer magic trained by an actual dragon are superior to the flames of someone who went through dragonification. I really don't know how to take this, because one, it makes sense that Natsu's able to hurt them and overpower them with his flames because they are now dragons and he has Dragon Slayer magic. That's the whole point of Dragon Slayer magic. On the other hand, they were already extremely powerful to the point where the Scenario Sisters and above were proven to be stronger than Natsu in base human form. So now that they've been powered up by dragonification, you would think that this would be impossible because all he's doing is just blasting them with his flames. They shouldn't be this affected by it. They should be able to handle the power of Natsu. I mean, just think back when Natsu fought against Brian. In his human form, Natsu just kicked his ass. But when he became dragonified, the power boost was high enough to the point where Natsu was actually struggling against him. Now, I'm not saying that it was a high-diff fight. He kicked Brian's ass. But it still was a struggle at that point. That's how much of a power increase dragonification is. So it kind of just feels like they just threw in this thing where Natsu's flames are now more powerful than theirs because he's a natural dragon slayer and they're not. It kind of just feels tacked on at the last minute. This should have been shown when he was fighting against Brian to show that the dragonification form has a weakness to Natsu, but it didn't. It showed that he was now being able to handle a one-on-one with Natsu, at least for a period of time. I would like this to be explained in the next chapter, but knowing Mashima, he likes to give people powers and all kinds of stuff without actually explaining it. So this would probably be a one-and-done thing going forward. Okay, moving on to the next part, that will be Selene. She flies into the mouth of Alderaan, and she meets with the real Alderaan. You know, that thing that Natsu fought. The two then automatically start attacking each other. Alderaan's pissed off by the fact that he feels explosions on his back. For some reason, he didn't go check it out at any point. He didn't even send any of his god seeds, which I'm assuming they're probably all dead and they can't come back. It's only this version of Alderaan. Nothing really happens in this portion of the chapter. Alderaan just asks why are dragons fighting dragons, and Selene basically responds by saying, this is the end of the 400-year banquet. Basically, what she's telling him that they've hit the end of the great balance between the 5 dragon gods. Only one's going to left standing at the end of this, or maybe none of them. Maybe the humans will win. And then after that, we finally jump back over to the fight with the Horatio Sace, currently with Gajeel and Zero. And Zero recognizes Gajeel. Apparently, he knew about Phantom Lord, which I suppose makes sense. I mean, at the time in Ferrari, the 2 biggest guilds were Fairytale and Phantom Lord. Lucy even said at the time that she was debating on which guild she should join, before she ended up meeting Natsu, obviously. Anyway, Zero recognizes Gajeel as Jose's number 2 guy, and he questions why he's a part of Fairytale now. And Gajeel's like, Phantom Lord was cramping my style. It's a lot more than that. Phantom Lord doesn't even exist anymore. But yeah, then something is said that really does annoy me a little bit, where Zero says, oh, so you betrayed your father, just like my kids. And after both Zero and Gajeel trade attacks, Gajeel then says he only has one father, and that's Magaroth. Now, I don't have any issue with Gajeel seeing Magaroth as a father figure. I mean, he is the one who gave him a second chance after the Phantom Lord arc. But Gajeel wouldn't consider him his only father. He was raised by Metallicana, a dragon. That's why he has Dragon Slayer magic to begin with. So I have an issue with the way he says, I consider only one man to be my father, when he clearly should have at least 2. It feels a little disrespectful, like they forgot that, he was raised by a dragon too. Yes, I really don't like that at all. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter. Like I said, it was an alright chapter. Like, there wasn't anything special about it. It just felt like more setup when I thought we were already done with that. So, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give a thumbs up so you enjoy more Fairytale and other things. Thank you, and have a great day.